What's up, preppers? Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking communications. Now, not current communications, but post SHTF Teotihuacas communications. Now, the ideal scenario, the perfect scenario, is we still have internet and we still have our cell phones and we can still contact each other in the usual means. That would be wonderful. But let's face it, in the situations we're looking at, like EMPs and CMEs, things like that, that's more than likely not going to be possible. Now, I want to start with the ones that you can keep in your Faraday cage, but they're still heavily reliant on electricity and reliant on the fact that everybody had a functional and perfectly working Faraday cage. And that is obviously these little bad boys, which you've probably seen all over the place. There's all different brands of them. Baofeng is one of the most popular brands. These are ham radios, okay? Or you've got the old CB radios. Now, for these to use them in current times, in peace times as it were, you do need to get a license. There's a UK amateur radio licensing. It's relatively cheap. I will try and put the links in the description. I've not done that yet. It's on the to-do list. But if you want to practice with these and try these out, you must have a license. You can listen in for free without a license, but you can't transmit without having your license. So just bear that in mind if you go and purchase these and start wanting to mess about with them. There's laws surrounding this. Okay, so I mean, that is the ideal situation. What I will say about that is make sure part of your plan with your group, your family, whoever you need to contact in that situation, you have predefined frequencies set. Whether that's on a little piece of card, something like that, as long as everybody knows these, not just one frequency, a couple, just so you can vary through them if one's compromised for any reason. But make sure you're predefining your frequencies with the members of your group beforehand, so everyone's just not scanning around looking for random things. It also is a good idea to have some sort of keyword. Now, this takes me back to things like the Normandy landings with the airborne behind enemy lines. One would say thunder and the response would be flash. Something very simple like that. Obviously, lots of people have heard of that one, so don't use that. But it could be any two random words that if they don't reply the right random word, you know you're not talking to somebody within your group. Make sure all these things are part of your plan and everybody is aware of them. Even if you've got to give it to them in an envelope and say, don't worry about that, just open it if ever there's a major blackout or anything like that. Because if they just read it, they might just throw it to one side. So make sure it's predefined and everyone knows how important that is. Of course, the alternative to that is two-way radios or walkie-talkies, as they were. Now, that's a lot shorter range. That's more like a homestead thing. Somebody needs to go out for supplies. It's good to have that communication there. Again, relying on the fact that you had these in a Faraday cage when the event happened. So let's talk Faraday cage fails or happen to be open or whatever, you don't have one. What happens in that situation? What's our communication options there? Now, there's all sorts of communication options that have happened throughout history. We try and learn from history. That's the main thing here, because our lessons from history might serve us for the future if there's no power. There's extended grid down, or we've lost all power like an EMP, something like that. Now, there's multiple ones like this. When you think primitive, you might think signal fires, smoke signals. Now, there's probably more cons than pros with that because you are giving away position. So probably is not recommended. But along with what they used to do with them, there's also trail markers. Now, trail markers are something worth thinking about. Again, these are just simple guide ones that are on here. And you can see like the trail signaled with the rock above and then one to the left if you turn left and one to the right if you turn right. Very simple things. Twigs broken. The twigs broken I wouldn't really rely on because the wind can take that. But you could come up with your own. your own sort of signals. As long as everybody who's relevant to your party knows this, this is the key throughout all of these communication methods, is making sure you're not just sat there with, I've got a great code and a great plan, and nobody knows how to follow it. Okay, so make sure that information goes out to everybody in your network first. Next up, Morse code. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's electricity. Yes, if you're talking telegraph, but Morse code can be signaled via lights, whether that's a lantern or something like that. Morse code can travel over quite a distance when it's nighttime. If you're on a high hill, you can do Morse code signals that way. So it's worth knowing Morse code. This is the standard Morse code. This is the one that I know. That's what you get taught in the army, things like that. So that's good to know because other people will be using it. But again, make sure you can establish who you're talking to first somehow. One thing I like, which I really like because of my history with the Civil War Society, is a really simple version of semaphore, which was what the Signal Corps in the American Civil War used. Now, this is 2 flags. Each side has a flag to communicate. So it's obviously line of sight communication. So this is more in your area or a watch post out at distance, but you can see them. So it's kind of line of sight communication, but it's a really good system. You have like a cipher book or a cipher wheel. This is a cipher wheel that was from Antietam. And basically, there's a red flag with a white square, a white flag with a red square. Okay, just it's the best option for the background that they would have had, so you don't get any background interference. And it's simply one side is 1, the other side is 2, straight towards is 3. And the whole cipher is made on 1s and 2s, and a 3 just separates a word. Or I think it was 2 3s ends a sentence and 3 3s ends the message. That's just remembering off the top of my head. But, you know, again, things like this, if it's something you're going to adapt, make sure you look into that further. Another one is message drop points, predefined message drop points. Now, you could say to your mag, right, if we're ever you need to get a message to somebody, we will leave it here, there, everywhere. You remember the old X-Files thing with the X on the side of the box when he left a message in there? Similar sort of concept, but maybe a predefined place that's anywhere near a bug out location or something like that. You could assign phone boxes, whatever you decided to use, but make sure your message is coded as well. Now, you don't have to be a genius to do a coded message. You just have to have a cipher. This is the key. The cipher has to be guarded. Do not give it out. Do not pass it out. Do not make photocopies and leave them lying around. Something very strict that you've got to keep hold of. Destroyed if compromised. But a cipher could be anything. It could be the letters of the alphabet, but it could be a picture of a squirrel. You know, you probably want something more simple like that, but like this one here, this is a simple version of it. So to anyone else, that's just a random line of symbols on the wall. But to the people that matter, that might say gone to location 3, location 2 compromised. It could say anything, but there you go. That's the idea, leaving coded messages in pre-designed places, okay? If you say, if we ever have to leave messages, we'll always do it on the top left of a billboard, then that's not very specific to where, but at least anybody from your group walking around will keep an eye on billboards and see the top, look at the top left, and if they see these codes, they know. Just something to think about there. And with that in mind, predefined meet locations is a great one to do with your group. Okay, now this should be with your group. When I say group, I don't necessarily mean a mag. It could be your family, whatever your post Teotihuacan situation calls for. But these could be predefined bug out locations, safe houses, as it were, strong points, people's actual locations, and you should kind of do them in some sort of order. So, right, SHTF, we all go to this location. if this location is compromised, if nobody is at this location, the next one is this, the next one is this. If that's there, that you go here, you know, so it's predefined that, you know, if you get to somewhere and it's not there, it's on fire or it's in a fallout zone, you're like, okay, well, they've cancelled number one, we must have to go to number two. Yeah, it's all about the planning. So yeah, that's all I wanted to go through. It's a quick video. Like I say, ideal scenario, we still have a bit of technology going on, but plan for the worst, hope for the best. Myself, I am developing my own ciphers and codes at the moment that hopefully I'll be able to distribute around my network. And eventually that'll be good to test out as well. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you got this far, well done. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Please share the content. The videos are getting less and less views at the moment. You know, it's just the YouTube algorithm as it is. But as soon as we get to 2,000 subs, that's when we're doing our big giveaway. So make sure you share the content out there as well. It's really appreciated. Bye.